For more than 40 years, Boston Building Resources has been trying to protect the environment while helping to make housing more affordable. At the nonprofit Reuse Center, that means an opportunity to save money on materials and components that are recycled. But thanks to renovations, the center itself has also become Mission Hill's first building with net zero carbon emissions. Helping to make that possible are changes that reduce the loss of heat, new heating and ventilation systems powered by electricity, and solar energy panels on the roof. To tell us about the changes and events planned for later this month is the Assistant Director of the Center and Communications Representative, Deb Beatty. Thank you very much for being with us, Deb.
Hi there, happy to be here.
Good to see you, Deb. I want to go back to, I guess, around 1978 when Boston Building Materials got founded. We were talking about a time when there was a lot of disinvestment in Boston's neighborhoods, a lot of old buildings that needed somebody to come in and fix them up and maybe give new life to some old materials. So what did that mean as far as determining the mission?
That's right. And we also had an energy crisis at the time of the oil embargo from the Middle Eastern nations. So the price of oil was going up, 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 up. And many people had older homes that did not have great windows and did not have any insulation. So that was the impetus for getting the organization started, is that people needed help to be able to insulate and fix up and repair their homes in order to stay in them, have healthy, safe properties that they could continue to live in, and to make their neighborhoods and homes better and good for their families.
Well, we're talking about building resources going back to 1978. The Reuse Center itself goes back to 1993, so it's a little different from the rest of what you have. Explain the difference.
Yeah, that's right. The original consumer co-op that got started in 1978 was, you would think like a food co-op where the customers get together and they pool their income and have items available at lower prices, because the organization is not out to make a profit for an owner. It's there to benefit all of the members. At the same time, our board members recognize that if you keep the prices too low in order to remain as affordable as you can to some of our lower income neighbors, then the business has trouble surviving. So you have to walk that fine line. At the same time, there were a lot of people in the construction industry who could just see so many things going into dumpsters that was needless waste, could have been used again and help somebody else to keep their home in good condition and benefit the environment at the same time. So that was when the Reuse Center was launched in the early 90s. It first was operating just out of a couple of trailers, storage containers. We had no building at all for the first 2 years. And then our building was built. And then this is a full renovation of that same building that just has a totally new skin, new systems, and a new layout inside.
Well, after a quarter of a century, you're entitled to a renovation. You might want to make it cost saving, but why go all the way to net zero?
Yeah, well, we could have done just a simple code compliant renovation, and our board recognized, and this is a chance that we have. It's a moment in time for the organization where we're going to be taking everything apart. There's going to be some disruption anyway, and this is the moment in time, if you want to go that extra mile, that it makes sense to do it now. And it's our commitment to energy savings, it's our commitment to the environment, and just a desire to be a leader and an exemplar for the community. Some of the net zero carbon buildings that are being built, maybe a residence or an office building, and you can't, as a member of the public, kind of just walk in the door and experience that and see what it's like. But because we're a publicly accessible store, you can come in and actually visit the building and get a feel for what it's like.
Well, I can imagine walking into a building that looks nicer, but the things that really make a difference as far as carbon release, they're not necessarily visible to the naked eye, like new insulation, but you can show us what that might look like.
Yeah, yeah. If you're just looking at the wall, it's just, a flat white surface. But our walls are made of these insulation panels, and this is a cross section. It's a 4-inch foam sandwich, basically, with two layers of aluminum, which you'll see on the exterior and then on the interior of the building. And then you've got this joint where they fit together, where it just does not allow any air infiltration through that joint. So we've got 4 inches of this foam on the side of the building, and we've got 5 inches on the roof. And then also up there on the roof, where you can't see, are 114 solar panels that are generating power every day, and those provide enough power to be able to heat, air condition, and light the building. So we generate everything that we need right here on site.
I know this reminds me of one of the basic lessons about climate change here. We pay a lot of attention to cars and trucks using a lot of fossil fuels, but on the other hand, what is it about buildings? Aren't they a major part of that problem too?
They are. A lot of buildings have oil or natural gas heating systems, and they're a huge part of the carbon footprint. If you look at the city of Boston, it's buildings are a very large contributor to that.
Deb, I want to ask you about the customer experience because if somebody comes to this renovated building right now, what kind of changes would they be most likely to notice?
One of the biggest changes is we now have air conditioning, and in the summer it used to get quite warm in there. The heating and cooling systems are different. Are able to fit more racks for materials, and by arranging them differently, we're able to just get more racks in there so we can display more items. And our checkout has moved out into the center of the sales floor, a lot more like you would expect to see at any big box store. We used to have just a tiny sales office because that was the small space where we had air conditioning. But here everything is opened out, and we also have made use of some reused materials in the remodeling ourselves. The checkout station has old fir doors that are reconfigured and used to make the outer surface of the checkout area, and we have some nice old subflooring that is mounted up on a wall where we have our literature displayed. So we have some good examples of used materials in our own space.
You also have, I think, a change in the way people can leave things off too.
That's right. For donations, we now have a separate donations entrance, so it does not interfere with our customers coming and going. People who are dropping materials off, maybe in a truck or a trailer or something, can do that at a different door, and it goes directly into our receiving area where our staff can evaluate it, price it, and get it out on the floor. And it also just makes our parking lot safer.
I think a lot of viewers, they might be picturing materials like you would see in a big box home improvement store, but at the same time, this is Boston Building Resources we're talking about in a way, and the kind of things that are being reused, this might be different. I mean, what kind of components or elements are we talking about?
Well, you get everything from full kitchen cabinet sets to a box of nails to hinges and doorknobs. We have windows, doors, paint, window treatments, sinks, toilets, bathtubs, really anything that you might find in the home improvement big box store or a hardware store. And these are items that are either leftover for somebody bought too much. Maybe it was misordered, it came in the wrong color or the wrong size, and the person can't use it. It may be brand new, it's just a style of tile or paint that is being phased out and the retailer needs to make some more room and they call us up, then we'll gladly take it along.
Deb, I know you have something planned. It's happening later this month, and it sort of is right around the time of Earth Day. So, what exactly are you going to be doing at the Reuse Center?
So we've got a week-long celebration for our reopening that is going to start Monday, the 19th, Patriots Day. From 2 to 4:30 p.m. we'll have some live music. We've got a local band, the Mighty Silverbacks, that's going to be playing out in the parking lot, and then we will have a ribbon cutting at 3 p.m. And all throughout the week, we will have different items on sale each day. We'll be doing Facebook Live broadcasts, and we'll have some giveaways and other festivities that will take us right through Saturday, the 24th. So with the 19th, hopefully we'll have good weather, but we've got a rain date for Thursday, the 22nd, if we need to make use of that.
And finally, if people want some more details of what's happening and when, where can they find that?
If you go to bostonbuildingresources.com, and there's a blog post in the lower left corner of our website where you can read all of that information.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
From Boston Building Resources, Deb, Beatty, Mel. We'll have more news in just a moment.